Hi, welcome to Lawrenceburg's DIY take-home kits for 2021. We're going to do the Year of Flowers. Thanks to the Friends of the Library for sponsoring this, and certainly thank you to you for expressing interest in checking your kits out and participating. I'm Carisa Bunten from 7th Street Gifts in Newport, Kentucky. We're a small family-owned and operated brick-and-mortar apothecary shop established in 1999. I'm currently a student in the Herbal Chestnut School of Herbal Medicine Immersion Program and a 1,000-hour Herbal Accreditation Program. And I'm trying to learn as many new things to share with you as possible, along with sharing tried and true tricks of the trade, since we've been running our shop for over 20 years now, which is hard to believe. So the flower for the month of January 2021 is a tried and true favorite, lavender. You can't go wrong. And I do want to give creds to Denise for making this beautiful poster. So the Year of the Flowers DIY Saturday with 7th Street Gifts. And again, today we're going to talk about lavender. In your kit, you're going to get a familiar Frontier bag with one of our 7th Street Gifts stickers on it. And inside is an ounce of food-grade botanical lavender flowers. European lavender buds, actually, so they haven't quite opened yet. And again, I want to reiterate that this is a food-grade lavender, so it's safe to cook with and try it in a culinary way as well. And then you're also going to get a muslin bag, and mine is infusing in our vinegar right now. We'll get to that in a minute, but you'll remember that perhaps from maybe some of your other kits last year as well. So those are the only two tools you're going to need, is your ounce of food-grade lavender botanical and then your reusable organic cotton muslin bag. And we're going to add to that kit suggestions, tips, and friendly ideas for you to use the lavender the way that would work best for you and your herbal apothecary, your house, palette, and family. So just a fun little fact about lavender is that its name is derived from the Latin word lavar, L-A-V-A-R-E, which means to wash. So lots of times, if any of us have been lucky to travel to Europe or other places far away from our Western world, they would call a restroom or a bathroom a lavatory. Well, that comes again from the Latin word to wash or to clean, and again, lavender. So it lends itself to this idea that it's a very clean, refreshing scent, right? And it has properties that are cleansing as well. Lavender is known as one of the 7 polyvalents of the world, which means it's effective against many, many, many toxins, and it's applicable to many, many, many ailments. So it's kind of known in ancient civilizations to be a cure-all. And not even in ancient civilizations, but for today's world as well, we would use it in similar ways, as a perfumed bath water, an incense, an essential oil, and a culinary treat. So the suggestions that we have for you, for your lavender and your muslin bag in your kit that you have, are behind us here on the board. So the first suggestion would be to make a tea, an ingestible tea. And lavender is safe for 99.9% of everybody. So it is one of the botanicals that you don't have to worry about giving to a child, or maybe somebody convalescing, or somebody on a lot of medication, right? There are other ones into the year that we'll talk about where we'd have to be more cautious. But lavender is a 99.9% botanical that almost everyone can use. Certainly there's an exception to every rule. It is a really strong astringent flavor that has a little bit of a medicinal undertone, but it's used for relaxation, bloating, sleep, insomnia, things of that nature. So it's like a wind down. You would use 1 teaspoon to 1 ounce or 1 cup, same difference, of boiling water, and allow it to steep about 2 to 4 minutes. Again, this is a very strong astringent flavor, so you may want to start with a little bit of a less of a steep time than your average teas, and be sure that you like it and it's not too potent, so you don't waste it. And then another thing you can do, which is one of my favorites, is to make the tea maybe in a couple cup batch or a 3-cup batch. So then you would just add teaspoons to your cups, right? 1 cup, 1 teaspoon, so on and so forth. And steep it a little bit longer, maybe even 10 to 15 minutes, and make a really strong, potent infusion or tea of the lavender. And then fill ice cube trays with it. And this is a way to introduce the flavor in a quick and easy way and just kind of spice things up. So you can use ice cubes, your lavender tea ice cubes, just for a plain glass of ice water. And instead of using your regular water ice, you would use your lavender ice as an infused flavor. You can use your ice cubes for a quick night when it's too late to boil tea and go through all the trouble of steeping. You can even heat up a little cup of water in a microwave to a boil and drop your ice cube in. It would reduce the temperature so you could drink it and basically have like an instant lavender tea. You can also use the ice cubes as like a poultice or a boo-boo balm. So if you come in and you've gotten a bee sting or a cut or a scratch, or you've got a piece of poison ivy, or your kid's got a little prickly rash that they keep scratching, you can take that ice cube right out and just kind of rub it on there and use that soothing lavender water and the cold combined to give some relief to a skin ailment. Another use is infusion. So you can use your bone dry lavender. You wouldn't use fresh lavender for botanical infusion, but the lavender in your kit is A-okay. And you can infuse many different bases. Your infusion recipe would be 1 tablespoon of bone dry botanical to 8 ounces of whatever your base is. So you'll see to consume, because of the flavor, it'd be a teaspoon, but to use externally as a cleaner or an infusion in a concentrate, it'd be a tablespoon to a cup. So one example is cleaning vinegar. And this is one I did here when I got a little bit early. I added my tablespoon. Actually, I did 2 tablespoons and 2 cups of vinegar. Just good old regular distilled vinegar. To my bone dry lavender, and probably within, I don't know, a half hour, 45 minutes, less than an hour, we've already gotten this really beautiful lavender pastel purple color. And it really retards the scent of the vinegar that a lot of people are turned off by. I personally don't mind the smell of vinegar, but I know a lot of people don't like it as a cleaner because it's just not a scent that they find palatable, or they don't want their house to smell like that. So if that's you and you like the idea of vinegar but maybe not the smell, to infuse strong botanicals such as lavender in them, really kind of mask that vinegar scent, give a pretty natural botanical color, and umph the cleaning power too. They give it more of an antiseptic umph. Now, since this is just a distilled white vinegar, salad vinegar, there's absolutely no reason you couldn't introduce this to a salad with oil and make a lavender oil and vinegar salad dressing as well. So let's see where we're at. Oh, another infusion base is witch hazel. And you would just use, obviously, a bigger bottle, or you can adjust your portions. If you had a little bit like this, you could do a teaspoon instead. You would use witch hazel as your base instead of vinegar as an external like toner or applicant. And again, it would pair up with the poultice idea. So you would use your muslin bag and your bone dry botanical and this ratio, and you would just use witch hazel as your base instead. And then you would use it as a face toner, an insect toner, a spray, a mist, just kind of like a enhanced witch hazel, how you would use witch hazel already. And it smells good and looks good. And again, kind of umps it, gives it a little bit of a boost. You could use rubbing alcohol as your infusion base, again with the same ratio. And you could make it, it turns purple like this, really pretty, and it gives it a nice scent. And you could use an enhanced lavender infused rubbing alcohol to make your own hand sands, which I know a lot of us are doing right now. You can also use an ingestible alcohol such as vodka, an 80 proof or higher. And you can make a tincture, which we've done whole classes on that, which is a folk medicine where you ingest small drops of a botanically infused alcohol for medicinal property. Or for fun, you could infuse a vodka and make a flavored cocktail, like a lavender flavored cocktail. You could use your lavender for baking and cooking. I have a feeling this is being blocked. Let's see. And so there's going to be included in your kit a shortbread recipe that includes lavender buds and is absolutely delicious by Donna Porter. Hi, Donna. Thanks for the recipe. So that's an example of incorporating it into a baked good. You can make a simple syrup, which is one of my favorite ways to do it. And I did this one here in the Eubank kitchen before I started to get set up and film for today. You'll see this is a good example how I left my muslin bag strings hanging out. And you see how when you do that, it makes a little bit of a wick and it can sometimes make a mess. So when you do it at home, it might be better to go on ahead and just put your whole string in there and then use like a spoon or a tong to pull it out so you don't have that wicking mess. Now the simple syrups are really fun. I just brought an equal part of light corn syrup with water to a rolling boil, and then put a tablespoon of my botanicals, because I did 8 ounces, right? So I did 4 ounces of syrup and 4 ounces of water to make 8 ounces equal to a cup. Brought it to a rolling boil. It took about 3 minutes to bring to a boil in the microwave. You may certainly use a stovetop or a kettle. And then I had my tablespoon of dried lavender in my muslin bag, all ready to rock and roll, and I poured it in there, and I'm going to let it steep for about 3 or 4 hours today, and I'll probably pull it out around 2 or 3, my bag. Rinse it out really well. Empty my botanicals out, allow it to air dry, and use my bag again for another purpose. You can use your bags again and again. This is really fun. So then, now that you have your simple syrup made, you're going to keep it refrigerated just to ensure a long shelf life. And you add this to club soda, simple waters, and things of that nature to make your own flavored drinks. Lemonades, punches. The best is a club soda with a lot of ice and about a tablespoon or 2 of your lavender simple syrup, and it makes a lavender soft drink, basically. And you'll see when you introduce lavender to a heat, it gets this army green kind of dark color. But if you introduce it to an infused base that's room temperature and not hot, it maintains its hue. So with the simple syrups, you need the heat. So you might kind of get this off color. And if that bothers you, just use a food coloring like that you would use for cooking or baking for a frosting or an Easter egg, you know, a food safe dye. And put a drop or 2 of purple in there, and then you would have a safe way to have that pretty purple if you didn't like the kind of off green army color that it turns when it's introduced to heat. Salts and sugar, super easy. This is a sugar that Owen made a little bit ago. Just really simple, a pretty little wooden spoon. Takes very little to give a nice flavor and texture. And one hint that we found with the salts and the sugars that we've learned ourselves this winter, cooking and using them a lot ourselves, is that right before you get ready to use them, if you roast them really quick on like 175 for about 8 to 10 minutes, and that includes the sugar, they kind of caramelize, it really makes that botanical flavor and scent come out and pop, and it makes a really nice kind of, I don't know, higher end finishing salt or finishing sugar. So if you have any of your salts left from your kit last year too, if you roast them, like I said, right before you use them, it kind of brings them a little bit of pop. And it makes your kitchen smell incredible too. And then the fourth is bath. So just good old bathing, Lavar, right? To use as a perfumed bath water, a hair rinse, a body rinse, a foot soak. And then I like equal parts. So I would probably put about a half of a tablespoon of my lavender and a tablespoon, half a tablespoon of baking soda right into my muslin bag so you don't have a mess to clean up when your bath is done. Drop it in your hot bath as hot as you can and do a really nice therapeutic, fragrant, all-natural soak. And then again, please let your bags air dry out and then empty those botanicals out into your compost or wherever you get rid of things and use them again and again. They may stain and start to look a little nappy, but they have a really long shelf life. So they're a useful tool if you just kind of stick them in a drawer someday. I think you'll go to them more often than not. So in conclusion, for January 2021, the year of flowers with DIY Saturday, we did lavender. You have an ounce of food grade lavender and a muslin organic drawstring bag, along with suggestions and recipes for teas and fusions, baking and cooking, and bath uses. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next month for chamomile.